Look, yes, we put down this motion in good faith. I'm delighted to see the support that has got. And on Cato, she's one of my wakes of Waldron, Hannah Breener Down, and August Murray, government scientific, and the research on this. And it's quite a simple, basic, simple, honest to God motion that ordinary people will resonate, Minister. And no disrespect to your own script that you read out, or Minister Smith's script. And of course, as usual, Minister Ryan is not here. Where is he? He's at COP in Egypt. 400 jets flew in there, and private jets. And you have the audacity to tell people, pull up their belts. I remember the late Charles Haughey telling people with the Sharpie shirts to tighten their belts. It's just since a deja vu, we're here again. But this time people are crippled and they're on their knees and they're begging, they're on life support. Life support. And Deputy Smith is gone, but I was delighted to see her so welcoming of our motion. And we're common sense people. And we're not climate deniers, but we are, well, the issues that Deputy Smith and others seem to have with us is that we want to keep the lights on here in the interim. We have all the wind that's blowing. But at the risk of repeating ourselves, and what Deputy Donovan said at the outset, like Whittaker, T.K. Whittaker, the rest of them, and the forefathers of this country, and the visionaries, they had such a passion and a view. And I'm not an idealist as regards having a system nationalised, but we may have to nationalise the power companies because they're not playing ball. And I'm glad to see, whether this is a result of our pressure or motion, that electricity, they want to be wrong on them, SLC Electricity have announced today that they would forego all profits the rest of the year. So that's what we need. We need more stick and less of the cardiology. And we need more COP on instead of COP summits. The children were up here earlier, there's some still here, are laughing at us that we can't get this. We're talking about wind and we're talking about the big transformation, and 10 years' time we're going to be all wind, offshore and everything else. Where is it? And the wind blows, as Richard Dunn said to someone earlier, it doesn't cost anything for the wind to blow. But what's really confusing people, and where is the regulator? And we met Senior, the most senior executive of the ESP last week, and we learned a lot from him. And it's a bad day you don't learn something. And they told us that they were waiting for the regulator because this article, this statutory instrument had been passed in Europe. And why are we the laggards always to, when there's something to help the people, we're last to do it, but it's something to penalise the people, we're jumping up and down to do it, and add 3 or 4 more statutory instruments to it. So, Minister, 96% of all the wind energy produced in Ireland is priced at the same price as gas, even though it is made at a fraction of the cost to produce. Do you get that? And you've it all bundled in when the people, when ESB or whoever goes out to buy, it's all in there, and you're paying that Gurby tax on it, even though it's cleanly produced. So there's rip-off Ireland is alive and well in the government, regulator asleep, and in the gouging energy companies. And no one says a word. Why would they? Because you allowed the banks to walk away with billions, bail them out. You allowed all the big companies, and when you go to the data centres, you allowed what's big as one as far as you're concerned. You'd be great men building snowmen. Because if you're the big one, you go raving mad altogether. At the biggest one, you're like children with sweets inside in a confectionery shop. That's what you like. While the people perish. What was it? It was Mattie McGrath, let them eat cake. But I tell you one thing, we have a message this morning for all public buildings not to have a kettle in their office, to buy the kettle. And we're going to go back to the Bath to Leichenach that the women had in their bag carrying with the shawl, and they made a little tripod, and they bought a billy can of water and boiled it. And we're going to do it out in the yard here on public offices. Would you cop yourself on instead of going to COP 26 or 27 or whatever it is, for a show and glory and to be seen to be better than anybody else? We're small fish in a big pond, and we should behave with respect for our nation and not to be trying to keep up with all the big boys and make we'll drive our people into penury to be as good as what you are out here. When we see what's happening in China, when we see what's happening in Germany, we've been quoted here this morning several times about Spain and Spain and Italy, who have implemented this regulation. But we won't implement it at all. We'll just dance around it and let the taxpayers suffer. As I said, in layman's terms, the cost about €1,000 per kilowatt hour, and the cost of making electricity is €10 an hour. But the kilowatt hour and all the rest are put in together, and the highest price is paid for. Sure, I mean, any of us doing a business deal wouldn't do that. And the 4 or 5 of us or 6 of us are 5 or 6 are small business people, and we understand and we feel the pain, and I'm sure you should too in Limerick, of all the businesses shops, butchers, you name it, confectionaries, hairdressers, anything using the heat. And I want to clarify that Minister Smith has gone, I asked for it yesterday, that the TBES scheme that's introduced now to help people up to 10,000, that is not applicable if you use oil as your main source of heating. Where are we going to get pipe gas or natural gas in the hills of Hollyford, or indeed in the hills of Killinall, or up in the Knockmay Downs or the Kelties, or much lower down in towns that don't have natural gas? Very few towns have it, a handful in Tipperary. Dumbalashgale. So, Minister, the genie's out of the bottle here, and you're caught napping. I could use another analogy, but I won't. But I might have to. So what you're doing is both wrong, hurtful to the people. I believe it flies in the face of God, number one, but it flies in the face of European and national law. And what about our constitution, that we're supposed to look after our people and cherish them equally, when we want to honour the big guys? So the great wind farm rip-off, who had greedy energy plants, sell us electricity at sky-high prices, and it's made from wind, hot air. Goodness, wait a minute, if we had a channel in here, we'd make a few fair kilowatts of it too, with the amount of hot air spoken in here at times. And I can speak a bit myself as well. I won't exonerate myself from that. The European, our motion calls for implementation of EU Council Regulation 2022-1854, which came into effect on October the 8th. And here we are in the middle of November, and we have no sign of implementing it in this country. As I said, when it comes to implementing something good for the people, we're absolute laggards and blackguards. But when it comes to something that's punitive, whether it be in agriculture, whether it's stopping turf cutting, or whether it's stopping other and many other plethora of issues, we're implementing that night. We can put up VAT here at midnight on a budget. We're debating the finance bill here at the moment. Take the company cars, the benefit in kind. Minister blindly said, look, we have to do this. I thought businesses are going to close. The companies can't replace the fleet. We're being penalised, the ordinary working man will be penalised if he hasn't a low emissions car. Where is he going to charge the car? Where is the infrastructure in the country? So you have the cat, not only before the horse, but the cat is gone down Dame Street when we're still here with the horse. If you have a horse, he might break wind and you'd ban him as well. That's the problem with you. You're gone so politically correct. God, I remember that we plough with horses and we burn hay with horses, and I do water from a well with horses. Are we going to go back to that? And we can't buy the water unless we have the back to Leicester and it's on the turf. God, Minister, you really are. The white development, the white coat should be around here regularly and should be checking up people. Are you feeling okay? Or what has gone on with the people that want to drive our ordinary people into penury? Hardship and misery. The man going to work, the woman going to work, the man the delivery services, the man in the van that supplies this country, the fellow with the independent self-employed with a concrete lorry. Take the super values, chain them in Tipperary. Their ESB has gone up in some cases from 8,000 to 24,000. Okay, to get back 10. Where are they going to come up with the other 8 every month? Just not doable. The prices of the shopping bag, mum's purse, is not able to stretch. People are going to be either hungry or cold, and in some cases both. And the fear and the terror that you've driven into people is palpable. And the media have to take a fair share of the blame to you for fanning this climate change. It is real, but it's not the be-all, end-all. When we see what's happening, as I said, coal mines being opened in Germany, dismantling plants in the Midlands and set them up out front, exporting the port, bringing them back in refined. Such codology. If the forefathers that fought for this country thought that they would be inherited and would be followed on by this madness and lunacy, they would never have lifted a finger to free Ireland. They'd have left it in the United Kingdom, or they'd have done something else, because it is just mockery, madness and a charade. You're not opposing our motion, so please will you implement it? Is this another one of the magic tricks of the licorice all sorts? You won't oppose it, but you won't implement it. So that I'm calling on you. There's a statutory instrument here to be signed into law to make sure that if we're buying energy as a bulk, that the vast majority that's produced by wind is not charged at the oil prices. So it's making a mockery of your green, clean energy. It's making a mockery of your wanting people to go off fossil fuels. So it's a trick. It's a three-card trick. This says it's becoming a 24-car trick. All the while, Minister Ryan's outside eating lettuce and smoked salmon with all the rest of them. God knows what they're not eating out of the cop. I haven't seen the menu, and I don't care about it. But, meat is on is definitely on this. Of course, the €120 plate. Thanks, Deputy. I wouldn't look at those lavish things. I would only aspire to them at a wedding, and I have a wedding coming up very shortly. My daughter's getting married Friday week. Hopefully we'll have a feast, we'll have a good day, and we'll celebrate, as we always do. But, Minister, we want you to implement this statutory instrument.
Thanks.
Sorry? I know you would. I know some of the kind of you hangers on, you'd arrive all right. But no disrespect there. But our motion is a serious motion, and we are serious about climate change. But we want to bring the people with us. All stick and no, and as I said, a no carrot ain't going to work.